Yo, what up, guys? How's it going? Nugget Therapy. Coming with you with a brand new video on Bitcoin. I'm going to be analyzing Bitcoin and letting you know what I'm thinking about this chart. As you all know, we went on a straight massive moonshot all the way up to um, 13,000 and about 850. And ever since we broke out of this ascending channel here, it's been a straight parabolic run. We went up by about 40%. It's a massive move, and we just had to see a correction. And now here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this is potentially looking like a blow off top, and that we're ready to see that big correction that we've been talking about. And I'm going to be giving you my targets and my analysis for this video. If you think that this sounds interesting, then leave a like, leave a comment, and make sure to tick the bell for future updates. But for now, let's get right into the video. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you I told you so, but as you can see, we've had on the RSI these patterns that I've outlined for you in the past. In my past videos here, we have like this ascending wedge, descending wedge on the RSI, and then we repeated the same pattern here. We had the exact same thing. This descending wedge here, which broke to the upside. And as you can see, as outlined for you in a previous video, we created a triple top on the RSI, and now we're currently correcting to the downside. I think it was about a week or two ago I told you that when we broke out of this ascending wedge here, I did tell you that my target was potentially a triple top on the RSI, and that's exactly what we reached before correcting. And so I think that that was a pretty good pattern to be looking at. But for now, this is looking pretty bearish. We got a straight rejection to the downside. And you can see that on the daily, the MACD is also going to be closing today potentially with a red bar. And you can see that right here. You can see that the daily is slowly converging on itself. And if we keep going, breaking to the downside, then we're going to see this getting smaller and smaller and more towards the red, and that could be an indication that we're ready to go down. And something else that I want to look at is on the 4-hour. As you can see, oops, sorry about that. Here we're now holding on the 263 Fibonacci retracement level, 236, sorry. And you can see that we've had already 3 or 4 touch points on the 4-hour. We've had this wick here, this wick, and now the current wick. And I think that these are potentially pretty bearish. And I think it's just a matter of time before we break this 11,350 level. And my next target would be potentially the 382 Fibonacci retracement level, but I don't think that's going to be holding. As you can see, here we have like no resistance in the past. We barely even traded at this level, so I don't think it's going to be a significant Fibonacci retracement level. A point where that could be interesting for us to look at is the 0.5 area, which is at 8,500. But my ultimate target is the 618 Fibonacci retracement level. I think that we've been on such a big parabolic move. I mean, we've rallied more than 100. We've rallied more than 300% actually. If we go from the bottom of the trend all the way to the top, this is a 343% move. So I think that we need to retrace by a big amount, at least by 61%, which would be in line with well, I mean, I think that we're going to be retracing to the 618 area because this parabolic move has been such a big move. And when you see a big parabolic move like that, then it usually falls back down as fast as it went up. And as you can see, my Fibonacci retracement is at 7,200 with a potential gauge of 6850, just because we had a lot of confluence here in the past. You can see that we have some trading action here, and it's a possibility that we're going to be reaching these levels, and I'm just giving myself a little gauge for the price to downshoot, because as you can see, if we look at the top of our trend here, the Fibonacci retracement level for the top of this, for the top of the bull market of 2017 here, if we take a Fibonacci from the top here to the bottom, you can see that our Fibonacci retracement level is a bit lower than where we topped out. Yeah, this is not accurate, but if I do it a little more accurately, you can see here that we topped out a bit higher than the 618 area. The 618 is this line here, so that would be our 618, and you can see that we overshooted it by a couple percentage points. So that's my reason for doing the same on the way down. I'm thinking that we might have a downshoot further than the 618. So I'm putting myself a little box here between these two lines that we could be retracing to. And I'm just keeping this big blue line of support here because I think that that could be a potential bouncing area, since we've had so much trading action in the past year. We haven't had much trading action in the most recent times, but I think that it could still hold as support. And as you can see on the daily, we have the 200 EMA coming up in that zone that could act as support. Also, if we look at the weekly, we can see that the EMA ribbon is currently in that zone as well, and it's slowly trending upwards towards these Fibonacci retracement levels. So I think that we can see that this is going to act as great support, and I don't see us going much lower than this now because the trend has been so high. I mean, the bull action has been so high, and I think that the bulls are going to step back in at these levels to get some cheaper Bitcoin, but I don't think that we're going to see much lower levels. There's still a possibility that we fall below 6,000, and in that case, if it does happen, then my target would be something like the 5,500 level. Just because we've had some good trading action in the past at this level here. You can see that this was the top of this ascending channel here, and that would be a great area for us to bounce at. But I think ultimately we're going to be, I know this is a big range, but we're going to be bottoming in this sort of range here on the chart. I think that's a good target for Bitcoin for a correction, and then we can see much further upside potential after that. But just to show you that I think this is going to be a big correction, you can see that if we take the top of the trend and bring it all the way to the bottom of my projection, this is going to be a 56.8% correction. I don't think we're going to close at this level. I think we might get a downshoot down to this level and then close maybe at the 7,000 level. But I think that we're at least going to get a potential retracement to the 71 to 7,100 level. 7,000 level, sorry, not 700,000. Yeah, so either at least 7,000 or 72, 7,300. One of the reasons why I'm thinking that we're going to get this much of a move, well, we've created so many gaps on the CME Bitcoin futures chart that we just need to fill them. There's just so many gaps that need to get filled. We're currently filling this one here, but we also have one here which is likely to be filled too. If we reach the 382 Fibonacci retracement level. And then we have another big one here and this one here that was never entirely filled, which is exactly in my target area. So I'm thinking that this would be a nice place to bottom out before we keep going on an uptrend. Now, the other thing I want to look at is if we go back on the Bitcoin chart, you can see that right now Bitcoin is really bleeding, and you can see that on the MACD we created two consecutive red bars on the 4-hour here on the histogram. This is indicative of a bearish action, so I think we're going to see much more bearish action here in the near future. We also have the bearish cross, and ever since we topped out here, we have the MACD that converged to the downside, which is another bearish sign on the MACD, as well as a bearish break of our line of support on the RSI. We have a nice line of support here on the RSI, which broke to the downside, and now we're currently going to see much lower levels. There's some cases. There's in some potential events, there's possibility that we might see some higher levels here, but I think it's a really low probability. I think there's an about 80% probability that we're going to be breaking this here and that we're going to see much lower levels, just because it's clear to me that now this has been really parabolic, even more than before. And I know that we've been talking about a parabolic Bitcoin ever since this point here, and that a potential correction was potentially going to happen very soon. But since then, we've rallied more than 50%. Ever since this point here, we had a 67% rally. So I think that for now, a correction is inevitable. And seeing as how many times we've tested this level here, we can see if we go on the 1-hour chart that we're currently creating what we can call a descending triangle. If we use these wicks here, we can see that this is our line of support and that our upwards line of resistance is clearly here, and that eventually, since we're so close to the apex here, eventually we're just gonna have to break to the downside. So if we do see a break of these two wicks here at exactly about 11,300, it would be a nice place to enter short positions for nice potential gain. If you in that case, if I do enter short at this point here, I think that we're not going to see. We might see some resistance at the 10,500 and even at the 10,000, but I think that ultimately we're going to be going down as low as I'm thinking probably the 382 Fibonacci retracement level. Although this is a big gigantic move, that would be a drop of 13%. I think it's a possibility, but if I want to be more realistic, I think that we might have us probably gonna find some support at 10,500 if we do break the 11,300 thousand levels. But yeah, I think it's a really low probability that we're gonna see higher levels here. I think that we're overdue for a correction, and this price action here is just indicative of I guess a larger breather in our uptrend, and we're more likely to see a big correction. Don't get me wrong though, I don't think that Bitcoin is over and that the the bull market is over. I think that we're just gonna be going through a big correction, a likely very big correction, and then we're gonna continue our way back towards 20,000 in the near future. And you can see on the 4-hour and on every time frame that this candle here is just outrageous. It's an insane red candle. We've never seen such such big volume throughout this whole vicinity here. If we look at our price action, it's an even bigger candle than what we had here when we capitulated from 6,000. Um, I mean, this is such a big, this candle is so big that we've had, that I think that um, the the um, the sellers are just really strong right now and they took over, and that we're just going to see lower levels for the time being, and that we need to keep our eyes on Bitcoin to make sure that we know where we bottom out for us to enter our trades and find good positions for ourselves for the following bull action that we're going to see in the future. But I think that for the time being, that's it, guys. That's all we're going to get for this uptrend. We're going to be correcting down towards the 7,000, 7,200 to 7,000 levels, and then we'll potentially see some higher levels. Well, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked my analysis. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment. If you want, we can have discussions down in the comments down below. Just leave what you've been thinking, and if you think that if you're seeing other scenarios here, let me know. But with that, if you want all the videos as soon as they come out, hit the bell, and I'll see you all in the next video.